Hello everyone, I hope you are all doing well. We had our first snowfall here last night, so today I want to share with you some of my favorite recipes for a wintertime dinner party. I'm serving butternut-apple soup for the first course, braised short ribs with mashed potatoes for the second course, red wine cranberry sauce and roasted broccoli for vegetable sides, and Chocolatepode Creme for the grand finale. Since all of these recipes can be prepared well ahead of time, you'll be able to relax and enjoy a cocktail when your dinner guests arrive. Let me change my shirt, put on an apron, and then we can get cracking in the kitchen. We're going to start with the first course butternut squash soup. Now, I've made this soup a million times and I make it a little differently every time. Preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 204 degrees Celsius. Then peel, seed, and roughly chop a 3-pound butternut squash. Put the squash on a baking sheet. Then chop 2 Granny Smith apples and 1 large onion and add them to the squash on the baking sheet. Drizzle with olive oil and toss to coat. Bake for 30 minutes or until the squash, apples, and onion are tender and caramelized. This smells amazing. I'm going to let it cool for a little bit and then I'm going to transfer it to the jar of my blender. Add 2½ cups of vegetable stock, 1 teaspoon kosher salt, a ½ teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a ¼ teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 3 teaspoons of garlic paste, 1 teaspoon of dried thyme leaves, and some grinds of black pepper. Blend to a smooth puree. I have to taste this, just in case it needs more salt. Oh, this is perfect. Now transfer this puree, this beautiful puree, to a Dutch oven or a soup pot. And then I'm going to add the rest of the vegetable stock. I'm going to pour it right into the blender. That's 2½ cups of vegetable stock. Pop the lid on. This is going to clean out the remaining soup that is still in the blender. And in he goes. Now I'm going to cover the pot and then put this into the refrigerator. And when my guests arrive, I will put this on the stove top over very low heat and let the soup come to a simmer, and then I will probably add some heavy cream. For the main course, I'm preparing braised short ribs. Now, these ribs are going to be meltingly tender, and I'm going to serve them on a bed of mashed potatoes. Braised short ribs are terrific because you can make them 2 to 3 days ahead of time. And the first thing you need are some vegetables, a diced onion, then dice up 2 to 3 carrots and 2 to 3 ribs of celery. And I have a great shortcut for you. If your supermarket sells already packaged carrot sticks and celery sticks, go ahead and buy them because you won't have to peel. The only thing you will have to do is dice. Yeah, I'm always happy to take little shortcuts wherever possible because I am the only cook in this household. Mr. Fox is good at many things, but cooking is not one of them. Here are the short ribs. Now, short ribs are not inexpensive, but again, they're totally delicious. And you really only need one per person. I have 6 guests coming. These came in packages of 4, so I have 8 ribs here. Now the ribs have a meaty side and a bone side. So what you do is turn them meat side up and then generously salt and pepper the meaty side. You want these very well seasoned. Here's the pepper. Now, I need to brown the meaty side of the short ribs. So I'm going to use my electric skillet here, but you could certainly use a Dutch oven. Let's add a glug of whatever cooking oil you like to use. Right, these have been browning for about 4 minutes. And this is what you want, a deep walnut brown color. Then transfer the ribs to a 5-quart Dutch oven. Then add the holy trinity of onion, carrot, and celery to the skillet. I don't know if you could hear my dog barking out there. I think she saw a squirrel. Saute the vegetables just until they start to develop a little color. It's going to take probably 5 minutes. Add the veggies to the short ribs. Now I'm going to add 2 cups or 500 ml of beef stock. This is unsalted beef stock. And I'm going to add the same amount, 2 cups or 500 ml of a dry red wine. This is a Cabernet. This is actually claret. So you want to add enough liquid to cover the ingredients. Then I'm going to add some herbs. I have fresh sprigs of parsley, rosemary, and thyme. And I'm going to tie these together with kitchen twine. Now the reason you want to tie the fresh herbs is so that you can fish them out easily later on. There we are. Add 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. It's going to lend wonderful flavor. And in go the herbs. I'm going to bring this to a simmer on the stovetop. Then it will go into the oven. We're at a simmer now, and already this smells really wonderful. So now just tuck those herbs in a little more. That's good enough. And then put the lid on and put the pot in the preheated oven. Let the short ribs braise in the oven for 2.5 to 3 hours, or until the ribs are perfectly tender. And every hour or so, check the pot to make sure that the liquid hasn't evaporated too much. And if the liquid has dropped lower than the vegetables and the short ribs, just add more stock or wine or both. While the short ribs are braising in the oven, I'm going to go ahead and prep the mashed potatoes. Instant potatoes are the make-ahead cook's best friend. In a large bowl, add 3.5 cups or 828 ml of water. Then add 6 tablespoons or 85 grams of butter, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 2 cups or 473 ml of whole milk, and 4 cups of potato flakes. Cover the bowl with cling film and then pop this into the refrigerator. Now, when you're ready to serve, all you have to do is put this in the microwave oven for 6 minutes, give it a stir, and you'll end up with fantastic mashed potatoes. Okay, let's check on the short ribs. Oh, the meat is very tender, and look, the bones are falling right off of the ribs. Remove the herb bundle, the bouquet garni, and then ladle the contents of the pot into a fine mesh sieve set over a large bowl. The perfume is heavenly. Fish out the bones. The bones should be falling right off of the meat. And return the contents of the sieve back to the bowl. Now return the cooking liquid to the pot. Let this cool completely. It should come to room temperature. Then put a lid on the pot and put this in the refrigerator for several hours or even 2 or 3 days. The fat will rise to the surface, and then you can scrape off the fat. And then all you have to do for the dinner party is put this back in the oven or even on the stove top and let it just barely come to a simmer so that it's warmed all the way through. Since I'm hosting this dinner party during the holiday season, I think a really good side dish would be cranberry sauce. And I make a super cranberry sauce with red wine and ginger. In a saucepan over medium heat, add 2 12-ounce bags of fresh cranberries, 1 cup of dry red wine, 3 tablespoons of honey, 3 teaspoons of ginger paste, a pinch of kosher salt, 1 3/4 cup of dark brown sugar, and a half teaspoon of black pepper. Stir to combine, and then let the mixture simmer slowly for 20 to 30 minutes or until most of the berries have popped. Transfer the berries to a bowl. Let this cool to room temperature and then cover it with cling film and pop it in the refrigerator. This is going to gel up beautifully. Good morning. It's the next day, and I've decided that in addition to the mashed potatoes and cranberry sauce sides, I need a green vegetable side. So I've cut up some broccoli florets, and all I have to do is give them a short drizzle of olive oil, sprinkling of salt. Yeah, I think it's good to have a healthy green vegetable at every dinner party. Pepper, and then toss. And then wipe my hands. Going to cover this with cling film. And pop this into the refrigerator. I'm going to make Chocolatepode Creme. This is a very romantic dessert. It's little custards that you cook in little pots or oven-proof ramekins. So take 6 6-ounce ramekins and put them in a roasting pan or a 9x13 baking dish. And preheat the oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit or 163 degrees Celsius. Then take 5 ounces or 142 grams of bittersweet chocolate. I'm using this chocolate. It's 60% cacao. And just coarsely chop the chocolate. Then pour 2½ cups or 591 ml of heavy cream into a heavy bottom saucepan. Whisk in 1/3 cup or 67 grams of granulated sugar. Bring the cream just to a simmer over medium-low heat. Don't let the cream boil, okay? While the cream is heating, beat 5 egg yolks until they turn pale and thick. All right, my cream is nice and hot. So now, add the bittersweet chocolate. And whisk slowly and constantly until the chocolate melts. You want a very smooth mixture here. All right, my chocolate has fully melted. So now we need to add the chocolate mixture to the beaten egg yolks. But if we add the chocolate directly to the yolks, it will scramble the yolks. We don't want scrambled eggs here. So you have to temper the yolks. And the way to do that is to simply add about a ladle. Let's see, which hand do I want here? Add a ladle of the chocolate to the yolks while you're stirring vigorously. And add another ladle. Remember, keep beating the yolks. And then at this point, you can add the remaining chocolate. Ooh, this pot is hot. This pot's very hot. I love these oven-proof gloves. Now, I have some chocolate that was at the bottom of the pot, so I'm just scraping that in. Now, ladle the chocolate mixture into the ramekins. Now, add enough boiling water to reach halfway up the sides of the ramekins. I'm going to bake these in the oven just until the custard is set. The custard should just jiggle slightly in the center, and that's going to take about 40 minutes. Oh, these are done. See how they are just jiggling in the center? Transfer the ramekins to a wire rack. Use tongs. I'm going to let these pot de creme cool for 1 hour. Then I will cover them with cling film and refrigerate them. You can make and refrigerate the pot de creme up to 2 days ahead of serving time. All of my food is made and in the refrigerator, so now I have plenty of time to work on a flower arrangement for the table. I'm going to arrange the flowers in this pedestal bowl. This is a very old bowl that was made in the United Kingdom. Flower food. For the arrangement, I'm using evergreen sprigs of Taxus hicksii from my garden and bargain basement chrysanthemums from my local supermarket. Well, for greens from my garden and bargain basement flowers from the supermarket, I think this arrangement turned out very nicely. I've decided to use this neutral colored tablecloth, and I'm going to see how this blue runner works. I've had this runner for many years. It has seen better days, okay? I'm using Liberty Blue coffee cups for the first course soup. Dinner fork and soup spoon on the right, dinner fork on the left, and dessert spoon at 12 o'clock. Wine goblet, water goblet. A pair of 19th century silver candelabra complete the tablescape. Here's the game plan. Shortly before your guests arrive, preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 204 degrees Celsius. Then put the butternut-apple soup and the short ribs over a very low flame. Then go enjoy a cocktail with your guests. I like to plate the soup before bringing it to the table. I'm garnishing the soup with a splash of heavy cream and a sprinkling of ground cinnamon. When all of the soup cups are filled, immediately bring them to table and immediately call your guests into dinner. Then put the broccoli in the preheated oven and set the timer for 20 minutes. Also put the mashed potato mixture covered in the microwave and set the microwave timer for 6 to 7 minutes. If it's really cold from the refrigerator, it'll probably take 7 minutes to cook this. At any time before your dinner party, you can put the cranberry sauce in an attractive container. And just for looks, you can garnish the cranberries with a sprig of rosemary. I like to put the short ribs on a bed of mashed potatoes and garnish them with chopped chives and a spoonful of the braising liquid. Serve the broccoli and the cranberry sauce along with the short ribs. For the pot de creme dessert, I add a dollop of creme fraiche and some shavings of bittersweet chocolate. Guys, I'm sorry, but I have to taste this for you right now. Look at this. Heavenly. Thank you for being my guests at this winter dinner party. I hope you found some make-ahead recipes that you might like to try someday. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and to tap the little bell icon to receive notifications every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time with probably some Christmas recipes. Bye for now.